What's up everyone, it's your girl Shay here. Welcome to my channel if you are new, and welcome back to my channel if you have been here before. As you can see by the title of today's video, I'm going to be doing some anime recommendations. Now this is going to be an ongoing series on my channel, and they're not going to be themed or anything like that. They're basically just going to be anime that I really want to recommend to you guys that I think many of you guys would enjoy watching. So I have 5 anime on this list, so let's get started with anime that I pretty much recommend for you guys, part 1. So the first anime I have on this list, and I also have all the anime listed on my phone, so if I look down, that is why. But the first one I have listed is Peridot's Kiss. So Peridot's Kiss is about a girl by the name of Yukari Hayasaka, who is basically a high school student, and she isn't the best student. She doesn't know what she wants to do in her life, and I believe she's almost in her last year of high school at this time. She ends up meeting a group of kids who basically attend a fashion college, and when they meet Yukari, they really want her to model for them and basically be their model for their final project. At first, Yukari doesn't really know what to say, but then she ultimately ends up agreeing. And then along the way, she actually meets this guy named George, who is also among these group of college kids. So the main reason why I really recommend this anime is purely because of the fact it's not your typical shoujo anime. It's not filled with a whole bunch of angst or a whole bunch of like trivial, like high school kind of like weird back and forth. It kind of has a little bit of a more adult aspect to it. And I really enjoyed how they overall just kind of summed up everything, which is why I feel like it's just not your typical like shoujo anime. So I highly recommend watching this. It is a little bit more of an older show, so kind of like good luck on finding it. But ultimately, highly recommend it. I know a lot of people really do recommend Peridot's Kiss overall because it is just that great of a shoujo anime. The next show I have on here is Another. Now, Another is kind of like a mystery sort of anime, and just to explain pretty much what it is about, is basically about the fact that a popular student in a class basically passed away back in 1972. So basically after this has happened, there's basically like a mystery or like a creepiness about this town and about the school after this has happened. They basically end up getting a new student whose name is Koichi Sakibara. And basically while he's there, he comes across a student by the name of Mei in his class, or her name is Mei Misaki overall. That's her full name. And pretty much she wears an eye patch, and she is overall really just ignored in her class. But he for some reason is very much drawn to her. And even though Misaki as well as other students in the class like really try and get him to stay away from her, he really can't. But ultimately what ends up happening is that over the course of the series, over the course of the episodes, basically some tragic events start happening in the class, and overall it's a mystery involving like the student that has passed away, as well as what seems like a curse over anyone who is in class 3-3. So yeah, I highly recommend it. I actually overall really enjoyed this show. I want to say it had like maybe like 12 to 13 episodes overall. The last few episodes were like just totally crazy, and if you are someone who is into something that's like mystery, has a little bit, it honestly actually does have some like goriness to it, but if you don't really mind any aspects like that, I definitely recommend watching this show because I really feel like it is something that will definitely get your adrenaline pumping and kind of keep you going from the first episode to the last episode. So recommend Another. Next show I have on this list is My Hero Academia, which I'm sure many of you guys know about. It has at this point, I think like 5 seasons. I've watched about 4 seasons in total, but I still have to recommend it. So basically My Hero Academia, for all of those of you who have not seen this show or have read the manga, basically about a boy by the name of Deku, and he lives in a world where people are basically born with or without quirks. Now, unfortunately, Deku is actually quirkless, but he has this huge inspiration in basically a superhero by the name of All Might, and he has always wanted to go out and save the world and basically to become a superhero, and he wants to go to this school where it basically specializes in superheroes pretty much, but the problem is he doesn't have a quirk. So basically he does end up acquiring a quirk, which you basically learn in the first few episodes or so, but now it's basically about him trying to master this quirk, as well as the mysteries behind said quirk, as well as him battling or basically going against so many different, villains overall. Now, before many of you guys think it's like your typical shonen and stuff like that, Deku actually really does have faults. A lot of his friends have faults, and it's just a great story of like perseverance, friendship, and just like overall like just kind of like not going against the grain, but basically being able to, you know, stand up in like the face of adversary. Very much highly recommended. There are 2 movies out, or basically actually like 3 movies out in total, I think, for this series overall. Definitely recommend reading the manga as well as watching the anime. I actually personally need to still catch up on both the anime and the manga, so yeah, overall definitely recommend reading and or watching My Hero Academia. The fourth one I have on this list is Lucky Star. So Lucky Star I actually watched years ago, but it is still an anime to this day that I will go back and continually rewatch. Basically it's about a girl named Konata, and she's a high school student and she's with her friends, and basically each episode is different from the last, and it basically is just about her and her friends having fun. She's a total nerd. Some of her friends kind of make fun of her for it or find her kind of strange or kind of strange and or weird, but it's just a whole bunch of fun. It's hilarious. I love watching the dub. I think it's amazing. I definitely recommend watching it if you haven't already. I believe it is available on Funimation's site, which is where I originally watched it in the first place. It's about, I think, like 24 episodes long, I think, in total. But yeah, if you want to watch something that's comedic, that's kind of out of the box, and something that you can kind of have on in the background a little bit, which is kind of what I do with Lucky Star, I definitely recommend watching it. This show will not disappoint you. Especially, I watched this show when I had just finished watching Clannad After Story, so I needed to watch something a little bit more funny and not something so dramatic. So if you watch the show a little bit more dramatic, this is a perfect like palate cleanser before you decide to get into any more shows that are a little bit too dramatic as well. And then the final anime I have on this list is High School of the Dead. I know currently there's like this big thing right now about zombies. I just finished watching All of Us Are Dead on Netflix, and it really did remind me of High School of the Dead. So High School of the Dead is basically a show where basically a zombie apocalypse happens and these kids are stuck in their high school. That is pretty much what it's about. Unfortunately though, I will say that the anime kind of ends on a little bit of a cliffhanger, just a little bit. Like, it's definitely more open to a second season, and at this point in time the manga is on like a permanent hiatus and will probably not be updated anymore. But overall, the show was great. Yes, there is some goriness involved. The show is actually pretty on the ecchi side as well. So if you are someone who is not someone who really enjoys things that have gore in it or anything that has like etchiness in it, I wouldn't recommend watching this. But if you are someone who that doesn't bother you and you're kind of into like the whole zombie apocalypse kind of genre, highly recommend High School of the Dead. Although, don't say I didn't warn you about the fact that there is no second season, and I at this point have given up on there ever actually being one. But yeah, definitely recommend that show. And so overall, yeah, these are the 5 anime that I recommend part 1. I will definitely make another video like this where I recommend more anime shows as well, and I hope you guys enjoy watching these. If you like this video, of course, give it a thumbs up and please subscribe if you haven't already. I will have a new video out for you guys next week, and linked below will be all my social media accounts. I have an Instagram, a Twitter, and I also do have a TikTok, so feel free to check me out on there as well. And like I always tell you guys, stay positive, stay nerdy, and in today's day and age, stay healthy, and of course, please stay safe. All right, you guys, bye.